Good afternoon. Hey everyone, this is Daryl Russell, and my microphone is muted. Wonderful. Anyway, it's live. Welcome to Medicare Monday. It's been a heck of a day, folks. Hopefully, we're going to make this interesting and engaging, and we'll have some fun here. And we're going to try to do this every week and give you good updates. My name is Daryl Russell. I'm a licensed agent here at Affordable Medicare Supplements, or AMS for short. Hope your Monday is going better than mine. My computer just froze up on me and came to life. So if I seem a little frantic, it's because I am. Anyway, glad you're here. Thank you for coming. This is our first foray into live Medicare updates. And we've got a lovely little program put together for you. So I hope you like it. Again, we're going to talk a little bit about who we are, different things we got going on. We're starting to see some 2021 change information as far as Medicare, Part B premiums, so on. And then we're also going to talk about the ANOCs, or your annual notice of change. These apply to your Part D plans, your Medicare Advantage plans, as well as probably the most exciting thing, which is the Part D senior savings model. That's that $35 copay insulin program that some of you may have heard about. It was the news with President Trump's executive order back in March, and we're starting to get some interesting information on that. So stick around towards the end. You're going to see all that. If you like what we're doing today, give us the courtesy of a subscription. It helps us on YouTube. It helps us to be able to reach more people. The computer algorithms, they look at all that stuff. So anyway, I'm having fun here too. If I seem a little nervous, here's what I'm running here. So I'm not really running a space shuttle, but this is all that we've put together, trying to give you the best possible program. So my trusty microphone out of the way, a couple extra cameras, different stuff like that. It's all been very, very interesting. So anyway, let's get into it a little bit. So what do we know is new for 2021 where Medicare is concerned? Well, if you're on Medicare now, you should be seeing in your mailbox very shortly, at least by the end of this month, your brand new Medicare and You booklet. And in here, it tells you some of the things that are new as far as acupuncture, ESRD, different things like that. And I'm going to touch on some of those things here as we run along. What everybody always wants to know is, what is my Part B premium potentially changing to? Well, currently, the standard rate for Medicare Part B for most people under $87,000 a year individual, $156,000 for single or husband and wife. Currently, most people pay the standard premium, which is $144.60 per month, and that's either direct deducted automatically from your Social Security check, or if you're not drawing your Social Security, you may send a quarterly billing notice in, or let them take it out of your bank account. And every January 1, typically we see Part B premium increases. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about COLA and Social Security. If you've been on Social Security for a while, you know the COLA, or the cost of living adjustments. It's based upon how the economy's doing and what things are going on there. So currently, because of COVID, and I know we're all sick and tired of talking about COVID, Lord knows I am just as much as you are, the economic input or activity is very low. So we're only seeing less than a percentage economic growth. So what's happening is we're seeing that the COLAs might be 0.5%. So a Social Security check might go up by like $7 is what I'm getting on that. And because of that, we might see a COLA possibly even as low as 0. So currently, according to the trustees on Medicare Part B, your Part B premium is proposed, and this has not been finalized, so don't blow up the phones just yet. But it's been proposed to go from $144.60 per month as of January 1 to $148.50. Now, there is some speculation as to whether Congress is going to pass legislation to put a hold harmless in place. But worst case, that's about a $3 increase, a little over $3. So if your Social Security goes up by 7, they won't take the whole thing. But we will have some update shows later on as we get better information. So right now, it doesn't look like it's a huge increase. And all bets are that chances are, the way Congress does things, especially in an election year, if I were a betting man, I'd put my bets that you'll see a 0 or a hold harmless apply to Medicare Part B premiums. So we'll look into that further and give you updates. Finally, this is kind of new. Starting in 2021, acupuncture is now an approved coverage service under Medicare Part B. So what that means is if you like acupuncture and you have lower back pain, this is going to be limited to those things, you'll be able to get acupuncture coverage under Medicare Part A and B for 12 visits in 90 days. So that's kind of a cool different thing. And of course, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, they will have to follow suit and provide you coverage for acupuncture. Again, it's limited to lower back pain starting in January 1, 2021. So that's kind of cool. And again, you'll see a little bit more information about that in your 2021 Medicare and You booklet, which you should have in your mailboxes very shortly, just in case you don't have them already. So another thing that's going to change in 2021 is end-stage renal disease, ESRD, and Medicare Advantage. What is that and why do I care? Well, end-stage renal disease means permanent kidney failure requiring dialysis. You're a very sick individual. You're waiting on a kidney transplant because your kidneys are permanently shut down and you get dialysis on a regular ongoing basis. These folks previously have not been permitted to join a Medicare Advantage plan if at the time of application they had that. If they joined one, weren't sick, joined one, and then were diagnosed while they were a member of the plan, they could keep it. And as you might imagine, with end-stage renal disease, because you're getting expensive dialysis treatments weekly, you're on a kidney transplant list, so we know organ transplants are very expensive. This has been a very costly sickness to cover. So even though it applies to very small subsegment of the Medicare population, it's very expensive. And prior to January 1 of 2021, Medicare Advantage plans have not been permitted to enroll these types of people. So we're going to see that as a change. If you ever applied for a Medicare Advantage plan and were turned down because you had end-stage renal disease, you will actually be able to be accepted starting January 1st of this year. Where we might see some impact, and this is just speculation, is perhaps in some of the benefits of Advantage plans, just trying to cover an expensive service like that. We have seen some evidence that suggests some costs might be going up in Advantage plans in that regard. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later on as we get more updates. So now, if you're like most people and you've been on Medicare, you're dreading this time of year because of all the stuff that starts filling up your mailbox. Well, before October 1st, you don't get that much, but you should be seeing your ANOCs, your annual notice of change. In the industry, we call them ANOCs. And these apply to your standalone Part D drug plan. So if you've got a Medicare supplement with or without the Part D plan, reverse that. This is live, folks, and I've been a frazzing day. Anyway, so if you've got your Part D plan, standalone with original Medicare, you should be receiving your annual notice of change here shortly. They're required to be in your mailbox prior to September 30th. And they just tell you what changes your plans are making for the following January. So whether it's a Part D plan or you have an Advantage plan, you're supposed to be receiving this by September 30th. Why? Well, because as of October 1, all new plans will be able to tell you what they've changed, okay? Now, if you're like most people on Medicare, and again, I've been doing Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, Part D for the last almost 19 years, but most people on Medicare would rather have their eyes gouged out with dull spoons than review all of their stuff, all their changes every year, and we completely get it. And if you're not currently one of our clients, you might miss out on some of the services because we actually do a lot of homework and servicing for our clients every year, looking over all this stuff, giving you guidance. But we're trying to reach all the people that we haven't touched, and that's a lot because we're just a small agency here in Overland Park, Kansas. But what does all this stuff mean? Well, first of all, your ANOC, when you get it, is about the size of a small phone book. Now, I know we don't get them anymore, but chances are you're older than me, and I'm 56, so you remember the phone books. Well, in your ANOC, by law, all of the Part D plans, as well as Advantage plans, if that applies to you, are required to tell you a couple of number things. Number one, what's your premium going to change to for the coming year? And if you're like most people on Medicare, because you really don't like insurance, you don't like looking through all this stuff, that's the first thing you look at in your ANOC. And well, my premium on my Part D plan went from $15 to $16. I don't care. And I'm just pulling numbers out of the air. And that's about all the farther that you look. And that's all well and fine, but there is a little bit more information that you sometimes need to be aware of with the plans. Forgot to plug my computer back in. Anyway, so let's take a look at what else is there. Well, formulary. Now, formulary is the list of the drugs covered by your plan. So in that big, thick ANOC, what we want to do is take the time to put your drug list back together. We keep these on file for our clients so we can kind of do it. And if some of this is a pain, give us a call. We'll be happy to help you out and put some of those things together for you. But the formulary is important because sometimes the plans, while they might make just a minor change in their premiums, your formulary, which is the list of drugs that they cover. So you're used to everything being covered in 2020, and you look at the premium, but you don't dive deep into the formulary. What you may find out is one of your drugs may have come off the list. And if it comes off the list, it means it's not covered anymore, which means you end up paying for it all out of your pocket. So it's to your benefit to take the time and compare the drugs that you're currently taking, if any, as far as your prescriptions, and make sure that they're still listed on your plan's formulary when you get your new ANOC or annual notice of change. And then what's important with that too is you want to look at your drug tiers. For example, most plans, and I think most people, if they've had a Part D plan, will resonate with this. You'll have Tier 1, which is your lower cost drugs. Tier 2, cheap, but not as cheap. Tier 3 is medium, Tier 4 is high, and Tier 5 is, oh boy, these are expensive. Well, your copay, or your percentage that you pay out of pocket, will be higher as you get to higher tiers. So it's not uncommon to see a Tier 1 copay drug might only be $1 or $2, or in some cases even no copay, whereas a Tier 5 drug might be 33% or something like that. So even though your drug may still be on the formulary, you looked at it and see, yes, my drug is on the list, you want to also double check to make sure that your drug that was on the list last year as a Tier 1 or 2, make sure that it didn't move to a Tier 3, because that's going to result in a higher premium cost, or a higher out-of-pocket cost to you as well. So that's one of the things you want to look at because, again, it affects your copays. And in that annual notice of change, your plan's also going to be required to let you know, well, hey, we changed our copays. So last year, Tier 1 was $2, and this year it's going to be $4 or what have you like that, because that can be important. And in some cases, what we're seeing potentially for next year is you may have a lower copay at preferred pharmacies and a higher copay at regular pharmacies. So it's important that you take a moment to look at that information as well in your annual notice of change, because it will impact your costs. And if you're like most people on Medicare today, you don't have a big bag of gold that all your bill money comes from, and an extra $5 here, $10 there, $20 there, what have you, it all adds up. And that's what we like to do for our clients, is work as a partner with you We obviously need the information from you, but we'll do the homework. AMS, Affordable Medicare Solutions, we're an independent insurance agency, and we shop all the different plans. So we can make some of this homework easier for you and just give us the list, let us do all the work for you, and we'll give you a report. And all of our services are at no charge to you, so why not? Anyway, well, this applies more to Medicare Advantage. So if you're listening to this and you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you're looking at your annual notice of change, in addition to all of your copays for drug tiers, you're also potentially going to see changes in drug tiers or in copays for doctor's visits and what have you like that. But the plans can, and sometimes they do, make tweaks to the networks. So that's the list of doctors that you can use in the plan. So it'd be important for you to take a little bit of time to go more through that and make sure that your copays for doctor services haven't gone up that dramatically. Is your doctor still in the network? Depending on the plan, that could be a big cost increase for you because doctors received out of the network in some plans aren't covered at all. And finally, you're going to look at what are the new benefits. Now, this isn't guaranteed, but typically in Medicare Advantage and sometimes in the Part D plans, you may see new things being added in. As I'd mentioned earlier in the program, as of 2021, CMS, the federal agency that manages the Medicare program, has mandated that acupuncture be covered. So that's going to be in your Advantage plan, and there may be extra things. CMS is actually, CMS is the federal agency that manages the Medicare program. They've actually given some incentives to Medicare Advantage plans to offer some new different things to see how they work and as a test, the guinea pig, if you will. So you always want to look out for that. Okay, so if that didn't sound like more fun than a barrel of monkeys, don't throw up your hands and give up. Give us a call. We're happy to help you. We can look up these costs for you, different things like that. We'll go to work for you and do everything that you want rather than make you do it. And here I lost my phone number. I was going to throw my phone number up on the screen. Nope. Told you. See, folks, these are all the buttons I'm pushing. So if I hit a wrong button, forgive me. It's been a hell of a Monday. Anyway, now that everybody's left me here. So what you can do, and I will do this because I've got this ready to go. Here in the studio, I've got a separate phone, and this is our direct dial line. So if you got a question you want to call in or make a comment about, feel free to give me a call at that number, 913-361-0331. That rings right here into the studio because we did actually convert an unused office here into this recording studio. And that's where you see all the stuff on the walls and everything like that. So anyway, I'm having fun with my switcher unit. Okay, so here's what's probably the most exciting change going on for next year, for calendar year 2021, and that is the $35 copay insulin program. If you are diabetic or you know someone who is diabetic and they require insulin injections, make sure you know about this. Make sure your friends know about this because this is going to be a huge impact or a huge saving program for people who need life-saving insulin. And what I've learned too on this is optional. Let me repeat that, folks. If you've got a Part D plan standalone, go along with your red, white, and blue Medicare card, or if you opted for a Medicare Advantage plan, which includes Part D drugs, and you take injectable insulin for diabetes, this senior savings program, which is basically that guarantees you no more than a $35 copay for insulin, it is optional. Not all of the plans have to offer it. They have to opt in. So when you're reading through your ANOCs, if it doesn't say in big, bold neon, offering the $35 insulin savings program or the Part D senior savings model, it may not. If you've got questions on it, give us a call here at 913-214-1080, and we'll be happy to do the homework for you. We don't bite, so don't worry about calling us. We're pretty easy to get along with around here. So why is this such of a big deal? Well, diabetes is huge. Diabetes is a major factor in the United States. 30 million people in the U.S. do have diabetes, and that's about 1 out of every 3 people with a red, white, and blue Medicare card have diabetes. And so you can see the numbers on the board here. Almost 3.3 million people receive insulin of some type every day. And this is the part that drives me crazy because insulin has gone up dramatically. Ask your friends if you're on diabetes, you take insulin, you already know this. But if you're not, ask your friends. They're going to tell you they spend a bunch of money and it takes a lot of money out of their pocket and their budget that they could use on other things. So there's roughly $13 billion spent on Part D insulin in the Part D program, of which 968 million was copays out of these people's pockets. So it's a huge deal. So here's what you see, a breakdown on Part D coverages. And again, the senior installation program, this includes people that are in fee-for-service regular Medicare or maybe in Medicare Advantage plans. So let's get to the nitty-gritty here. What does this all mean? Well, if you're currently on Part D plan on Medicare and you have insulin-dependent diabetes, you're used to the fact that in most Medicare plans, you start off in purple there in the deductible in the calendar year. Now, you may have a plan that charges a little bit more in premium or maybe eliminates your deductible, but we're going to stick with the standard model. At $500 a month, and that's, I would say, is a pretty safe average for most injectable insulins. January, you have $435, which is the current 2020 deductible before the plan even pays anything. And then after the deductible is satisfied, you move to orange, which is your initial coverage phase, and you may have a smaller copay. But your copay only lasts for as long as your initial coverage limit under Medicare does, which is currently $4,020 for the calendar year. So if you're spending $500, $600, $700 every month on insulin, you're going to run through that $4,000 before you have 12 months. Most of the people that we deal with that have modest drugs other than their insulin, generally speaking, by June or July, they find that they're already in their coverage gap and paying a higher cost. So here you see in the gray where someone was paying $40 to $50 copay, it goes up to $125. And then if they have a lot of spending and they keep going up, then it goes to the catastrophic phase, which could be $35 and less. And if you're thinking that's confusing, folks, you're right, it is. And that's why I'm so excited to share with you about the Part D senior savings model, which applies to Part D plans and Medicare Advantage plans who decided they were going to opt into the program. What does that mean? Well, here's what it means. All of this gobbledygook over here that's just craziness, it goes away and it's replaced with this. Now, this I can get behind. Anyway, as of January 1, 2021, if you need insulin, injectable insulin, and it's on the list, and you're in a Part D plan or you're in a Medicare Advantage with Part D that opted into the senior savings model, your deductible's gone for your insulin. Your initial coverage limit, your coverage gap, everything is the same. So if this looks like something that makes a heck of a lot more sense to you right here, it does to me too. So what this means is someone who has a standard Part D plan with or without the deductible, and that $500 for insulin that I was just saying is a rough average, January 1, if they're in that plan, they're going to pay $35 copay, and the deductible does not apply to their insulin. It may still apply to other things, but it's not going to apply to your insulin. And then when you're in the initial coverage phase, you still pay $35 copay. And if you use that all up, so all of my insulin-dependent diabetics, this is the great thing. In June, July, August, when you normally have seen your copay go way up for your insulin, it's going to stay $35. This is phenomenal, folks. It's a huge deal. This could very easily save people $500, $600, $700 a year on insulin. So even though it may not apply to you, share this information with your friends. We'll be happy to call and help out. Now, there's a couple of things that are very important to keep in mind. Number one is you have to get into a Part D plan or a Medicare Advantage with Part D that has opted into this model. Number two, you need to make sure that your insulin is actually on that plan's formulary. So here I've switched over and I've got another listing here. And let me see if I can put myself up in the, I guess it's not going to cooperate today. All right, we'll go off of that. So here is the list that I've got from CMS, and it's showing what your Part D drug, the drugs that are required to be covered. Looks like my computer has froze up. Okay. Sorry, folks. We are not moving along here at all. Let's try this again. Okay, folks, sorry about that. It's not working, but I've got a list here. If you'd like the list, I'll be more than happy to email you. Give us a call, 913-214-1080. Justin's extension 1, I'm extension 2. We'd be more than happy to email you the list or print it off and put it in the mail for you. But I'm just going to read you some. So this is a very large list, but if you take Humulin, Humalog, Novolog, Novolin, the Quick Pens, Besigler, Lantus, Lantus Solostar, Lantus Pens, Levemir, Tresiba. These are all the drugs, insulins that are covered, and there's a little bit more, but those are the ones that are more common, including Tresiba, Toujeo, Soliqua. There's a lot that they're doing here. And yep, there we go. Now it's working. My computer froze up. So here are, again, I'm going to go a little bit slower so you can see this, but the insulin quick pens, Novolog, Humalog, all these. So you want to make sure that you're getting from one of these drug manufacturers, because if it's not on this list, your insulin you will not get for the $35 copay. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful for you. Again, folks, this is our first effort at being live. I'm going to get better. I swear to God, we're going to work harder on this. This was rough today, and I appreciate you hanging with me. I'm also really looking for your help, your suggestions. What can we do to give you more stuff? Ask your questions. You can call me here at this number too. But also, if you take a minute to maybe send us an email here. Here again, I'm sending too much stuff on the thing. But shoot us an email. This is our general inbox, info@AMSKC. I'd love to hear your suggestions on things that we can do topics on. We've talked about trying to maybe do some interviews, have people that are endocrinologists that work with diabetes, maybe have nutritionists come in and do programs. We are going to take some time next week, or in the coming weeks, I should say, to kind of walk you through how to do a drug comparison yourself, going online and looking at the Medicare tools. But we'd like to have a lot of fun with this. So if you've got, why do they do this? Why is Medicare like this? Or how come I can't get? Or why is my Medicare supplement so expensive? Why is my whatever it is that's bothering you? Shoot me an email in the comment section of the YouTube video. And this is the live program. It'll stay up as a posted recorded video. Shoot us a comment down below and let us know, hey, you know what? I'd love to know about this. I'd love to know about that. We'd love to get your feedback and produce shows with content on things that you'd like to hear about. So give us an email. Let us know all your things. Um, that's about it, folks. I'm going to take everything here. I've got a bunch of notes. We're going to get better. I'm going to learn how to fly this space shuttle just a little bit better for future episodes. But I hope you found this helpful information. I will include in the comments section below. So if you come back to this after the live broadcast, I'll include some links as to where you can find some of this information and material, as well as our email address and phone number to give us a call on. So it's been a rough Monday. This is our first effort at live TV. Join us next week, Monday, 3 o'clock, for all things Medicare, and we'll just keep getting better and better and have more fun. Thanks again, folks. If you like this and if you've given me sympathy points, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Maybe consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Again, my name's Daryl Russell. I'm a licensed agent, sales director here at AMS Affordable Medicare Solutions, right next to the Hy-Vee at 95th and Antioch here in Overland Park. Good day, folks.